Now we hear our Hi and welcome back. Now we're going to look at part 2 in this review of theoretical perspectives of anxiety disorders. And we're going to start with a psychodynamic theorist who view anxiety disorder as attempts by the ego to control the conscious emergence of threatening impulses. Now you have to remember, within this grouping of the psychoanalytic is, remember about the iceberg and the id, ego, and superego. And it's the ego who's looking after us. So they manage the fantasies that come out of the id and the social control of the superego. So feelings of anxiety are warning signals that threatened impulses are nearing awareness. The ego mobilizes the defense mechanisms. Now, I will put up here, there's on the screen, I think behind me, the defense mechanisms, a small list, there are quite a few actually, to divert the impulses from the id, thus leading to different anxiety disorders. The phobic objects in phobias symbolize aspects of the unconscious complex. Now, this psychodynamic model, it's difficult to test, as unconscious impulses are, well, to date, difficult to determine the existence of. So we really can't put a lot of our support behind that. Under the behavioral perspective banner, we have the learning theorists. Now, they explain anxiety disorders through conditioning and observational learning. Hobart Mower's two-factor model incorporates classical and operant conditioning in the explanation of phobias. Basically, previously neutral objects or situations are paired with an adverse stimuli. It's sort of like the word psychology being paired with a loud noise and developing a phobia for the word psychology that I used in the example in chapter, I think it was chapter 1. Then, by avoiding the word psychology, we are reinforced that this avoidance works. Phobias, however, appear to be moderated by cognitive factors or thinking, such as self-efficacy expectations. You know, how well we think we can look after ourselves, and if we are strong within ourselves, then we probably can handle some of this and manage it. The principles of reinforcement may help to explain patterns of obsessive compulsive behavior. People may be genetically predisposed to acquire certain types of phobias that may have had survival value for the prehistoric ancestors. Cognitive factors may also play a role in anxiety disorders, such as the over-predictions of fear, irrational beliefs, self-efficacy expectations, self-defeating thoughts, and attributions for panic attacks. Now, this is where the cognitive perspective comes in. Now, I say again, cognitive is our thinking process, how we think. They focus on the dysfunctional patterns that we may have in our thinking that may set the stage for anxiety disorders. Self-defeating thoughts can heighten and perpetuate anxiety disorders. Irrational beliefs may involve exaggerated needs to be approved of by everyone that one meets, and to avoid any situation in which negative appraisal from others might arise. Well, that's unlikely to be able to accomplish. The cognitive perspective also considers the effect of the role of oversensitivity to threat, or being particularly anxiety sensitive, or to the misattribution of panic sensations. To clarify, this model suggests that some people are prone to panic disorder, view certain bodily cues like palpitations and sweating or external stimuli as threatening or dangerous. And that's either through the way they've learned or through an oversensitivity. Now, these perceived threats are met with apprehension, which affect the intensity on bodily sensations like an increased heart rate, rapid breathing. This leads to misinterpretation as a sign of panic attack, or worse, catastrophe, which further reinforces the perceived threat, and the cycle will continue. Therefore, the cognitive factors appear to play a key role in the development and maintenance of anxiety and panic attacks. Perhaps even it's part of the solution or the treatment. The cognitive perspective really emphasizes our repeated negative self-talk can contribute to our own perception that we can't handle something, or that we cycle through our dysfunctional and faulty thinking so much that we can contribute to our own obsessions, phobias, and such. The power of our thinking can have significant negative as well as significant positive effects on our life experience. Okay, as you will see, biological perspectives come in quite a lot, and biological perspectives have sought to explain explanations of anxiety disorder on the basis of studies of genetic factors, neurotransmitters, and the induction of panic by biological means. Now, for the genetic part, much is being made of the role of heredity, the genetic or gene contribution to susceptibility to anxiety-based issues. Now, this, along with environmental issues, is something that we're going to find is reoccurring in many of our future chapters. It'll come to play quite a bit is the diathos stress perspective, and we introduced that in week 1, and we will be seeing this frequently throughout the semester. As far as neurotransmitters are concerned, the GABA is involved in anxiety. When there is a low GABA action, there is low protection from anxiety. Therefore, we experience more effect from anxiety. We can also look to the role of serotonin and norepinephrine in the experience of anxiety disorders. The biological role in both panic disorder and OCD is getting a very close look, and in particular, the neural network function or the lack of neural network functionality. All right, just to tie this bit together, not all people who experience traumatic events will develop related phobias or anxiety reactions. Some people may inherit a genetic predisposition, that's the diathos of the diathos stress model, that make them respond with greater negative arousal or make them more likely to panic in response to changes in bodily sensations. Anxiety disorders can develop from the complex interaction of environmental, psychological, and physiological factors. These factors can include behavioral, social, environmental, biological, and emotional and cognitive factors. I'm really hopeful that what we're getting to start to be introduced to, that one, it's not easy to diagnose. It's more complex than just simply check marking off a checklist. And there are many ways for many different reasons by which these occur in people, and therefore how we will support people. All right, so that's the end of part 2, and we'll start part 3 in the next video. Thank you, everyone. See you in part 3.